even on.
Oh, the mic's on.
Yeah, the mic wasn't even on, so it is
Hi
possible. It is possible that you two wasn't with us.
I don't know how to do it. That probably wasn't a fun face for y'all. Adorable.
That was awesome. Oh, man.
We just did start the live, so
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
YouTube, Twitch. Sorry, we didn't have the mic turned on. The truth is, we're lucky to be here at all. You know, our IT team is got some really neat things going on today. So, you know, we're going to fumble through this and try to make it work. But thank you for being here.
yeah.
We have
Thank you.
a beautiful parents right here. They're going to help us understand the
Hybrid.
complexities of having a transgender teenager, and maybe help just consider what things would be important for supporting your person and what that looks like. You know, last week I asked a question. We had about 16 or 1700 people looking at one time, and I asked the question, hey, if you had a 5 or 6 year old child who was unhappy, who was unhealthy, who was not responsive, who wouldn't listen, that was destructive, self-harming, and the only solution was, the only thing the child wanted was to wear a dress to school, and they were born a boy, would you allow that to happen? And it was surprising how many people said, absolutely not. I would not allow my child to wear a dress to school, even if that was the only solution. And I'm not sure I completely understand that. And I don't think that they do as well, because that's one of those things that you just can't make a decision until it's your person. And it may take a little while to realize you can't spank it out of them. You can't ground it out of them. There's no way you're going to shame it out of them. All you're going to do is send them deep, deep inside themselves, where you're not going to get any access to them at all. So what we really got to decide as a society is, are we going to allow people to pick out their own clothes in the morning? Is that a thing? Are we going to allow people to dress themselves? And if we are, then everything else should work itself out. Yeah. You know, they don't need medicine. I think therapy can be very helpful, and I think it should be suggested, just to help young kids be different than other kids going through that. Yeah. But I was surprised at how many people were strong against the idea of letting their child dress themselves if that's the only thing that child needed to be happy and healthy. And so, you know, maybe they'll reconsider it at the time. I've always thought from the beginning, the only difference between your opinion and my opinion is proximity. That's it. 100%. Just proximity to the issue. And when your people are wrapping their arms around you going, you know, please let me be me, you know, you start to think differently. You start to reframe things that you would have framed differently had that experience not happened. So I'm so grateful that you guys are here with us and are here to learn and grow. And, you know, I can't wait to hear, you know, some of the things. There's a lot of things going on tonight. These guys, you know, they're going to probably come and go. They may just have to skin out, you know, spur of the moment. So just know that we're grateful to have them here for whatever length of time they're able to be here and answer questions. So right out of the gates, Mandy, you should know, do you want them to know the dynamics of your family? Like,
sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm going to scoot back just a little bit and then let you guys introduce.
Okay, my name is Mandy, and this is my adorable soulmate husband, Josh. And we are actually a blended family. We got married October 10th of 2020, and Josh has...
I have 6 kids from my first marriage.
And then I have 3. So yeah, we have 9 kids between the 2 of us.
Somebody said hi to you.
Hey.
I don't know. We don't know who you are because your usernames are different than. But hi.
Oh, awesome. So yeah. Anyway, so we have 9 kids, and
thank you for the rose.
We love being a blended family. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. We love to go on adventures, and yeah. So is that it? What do you?
I'm actually in the process of adopting.
Yeah, that's important.
Mandy's youngest. His name's Ace, and that actually goes through tomorrow, and we're all very excited.
Yes.
For this process to happen. So.
And Ace is the transgender child.
Ace is the transgender trans man.
Born.
trans man, and he will be adopted tomorrow, so he will officially
Be my
become
son.
Josh's son, which is so exciting. We're so
Yeah,
excited.
Congrats.
So excited
All
for
of
that.
you.
So, yeah, we're super excited to be here, and hopefully we can answer questions and be of support to those that are.
Mandy, let me ask you: is Ace okay with you being here and sharing
Yes.
information and
Absolutely.
discussing?
Okay,
this?
that's probably good to know. So, Ace,
Thank you. For
we
the
have a
flag.
very, very good relationship, and everything that I talk about, with anybody, I make sure it's okay with Ace. Ace actually wants the world to be informed and wants people to understand and wants the world to be a safe place. So he's very encouraging and very, very, very excited to be have us here. So just be mindful because Ace is probably watching. So I just
Mama
ask
Bear.
you to be respectful of Ace.
Thank you.
That's
For sure. There's a lot of people in here, and I'm gonna go past some of these. All the best for the adoption.
oh, thank you. We are so excited.
And
Can
someone just
you-
asked, can you give some advice regarding non-accepting relatives?
So, I have learned through this, the only person I can control is myself. I can't give energy to people who don't accept, don't understand, don't agree with. I do my best to inform them and educate them, but you can't make someone understand something that they just don't understand. You set me in front of an algebra problem, no matter how much you
Same.
explain that algebra problem to me, this girl's never going to get it. So I don't
Yeah.
we have some relatives that are, a
Ace
little
is
bit-
her trans child.
Yeah.
Her trans son.
Oh yeah, Ace is the
And
trans
for
son.
people who keep asking and just
Yeah.
logging on.
Yeah. So, we just try to let it not ruin relationships and friendships because really that's what life is about. But we don't let the toxicity.
Yeah.
And our main concern is that Ace is happy and loved. And that really, from pretty much day one, that's the connection I've had with Ace. And that's the connection I will continue to have with Ace. I will continue to support and to love Ace
Right.
through everything.
Aww.
So yeah, we also have on the flip side so many accepting relatives. In fact, the Josh's family, who aren't the natural grandparents or aunts, uncles, they accept Ace as Ace and love Ace and understand Ace, along with my family. My family, parts of my family does and parts of my family don't, and that's something I can't change. From the beginning, we, like Josh said, we just want Ace to feel loved because you really just want your kid to feel secure and loved. And I was talking to Ace about this earlier. Am I rambling?
Nope.
I was talking about this with Ace
I'm just
earlier.
loving-
Shoot, where was I
They're
headed?
so proud of you and
Oh,
their comments.
thank
I can't.
you.
I've got 90 comments right now that I haven't read. So
Oh, thank you.
we'll
everyone.
get to the ones that we feel are best for Mandy and Josh to answer. And thank you for the heart.
I forget where I always cut myself off and
No,
then
I
I
did.
forget.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I cut my own. I asked if I was rambling. Anyways, Ace. I don't remember even what I was saying about family. What was I saying?
The in-laws and
Yeah, my
mom and
family was
dad.
all supportive. Your family, half there, half.
Yeah, and you can't change their opinion, I think is what I.
Yeah.
I talked to Ace earlier today about something. Can't remember what it was, but it was amazing. And he is just always teaching, always teaching. And from the moment he told us, I mean, you have two choices. You cannot, oh, I remember what I was going to say. I support and I love you. It all comes down to you want to love your children and want them to be happy. Now, if Ace came home and said, hey, Mom, I want to go shoplifting. Will you give me a ride to the store so I can do it? It will make me happy. No.
No. We draw the line at illegal activity.
Yeah, like I'm talking about internal happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm a diabetic and I need to fix that, I will do whatever it is to make my
Yes.
body.
There's a couple more
Who
people
chooses to?
asking who our visitors are. This is my friend Mandy and her husband Josh, and they're gonna help educate me with having a trans child.
Yes. And we
Yes.
love Alyssa and Andrea.
Thank you.
We have been around a long time.
Yes, it's been awesome.
Someone has asked, did he choose his name? That's actually an interesting question. We're in the process through the adoption. I have to ask the judge if we can also change the given name as well as the last name. Mandy has got to choose the first name because with the dead name, Mandy had a hand in choosing part of that name. So they only felt, Ace felt right that Mandy got to choose his first name, and he chose his middle name as Ace. We've been calling him Ace for a while now. I can't even remember how far back, but it's been Ace, and that's how I see him, as Ace.
Exactly.
And so the first name that Mandy picked was
Luca.
So Luca Ace.
Isn't
Yep,
that
Luca Ace.
awesome? The
And
Ace was
Luca,
so
yeah, and Ace let me, which is Ace
so
wanted me
great.
to pick the
You guys are
name to go
amazing
with it.
parents.
So, oh, that is awesome. You guys are so sweet.
Beautiful name. I love it. Have you, a question was, did you lose some friends because of your choice of supporting your son?
I'm sure I have, but I don't waste it any time. Like I don't give it any. Ace is my number one priority. If a friend chooses to not be my friend because my child is trans,
Flowers.
then they're not really going to provide positivity to my life. And Mandy, one thing about me is I need positivity. If it doesn't bring me positivity, I don't have time for it.
She's always
So-
fun.
Yes.
We're never sad when we're hanging out. It's
I-
always fun.
In fact, if you turn your, I just don't, if people want to turn on me, that's fine. But it's when they turn on Ace, when my, if a friend were to turn
Right.
on Ace, because if you truly loved Ace before, then why can't you love Ace now?
Right?
That's what I
so
don't
hard
understand.
for people to.
So,
Yeah.
Someone asked if we have TikTok. We do have TikTok, blended Stewart style, because we are a blended family. We also have an Instagram account. We want to do a YouTube channel on a blended family.
That'd be
So
great.
we're
is
gonna
it
put our.
underscore? I don't even know. Is
Look,
it
you got some
underscore?
roses, guys. You got some roses.
Oh, thank you.
I'm telling you what, this neighborhood, the people who come on
I
here
remember.
are unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are so kind. They're just
That is amazing.
they're just the best
Yeah,
people.
underscore.
That I am so excited about it. I am so
Thank you
done
for
with
being here.
technology.
Yeah.
So you just go ahead and
Underscore.
I'm just here for entertainment, folks.
Okay,
here we
thank
go.
you for the hand heart,
What do you think? And that you may not know the question to
the
this,
finger heart.
or the answer to this. What do you think Ace would want people to know about having a transgender child? What do you feel is something that he would really, gosh, if you can just tell him this one thing, just let him know.
Love your child no matter what. That is the most important thing for a child to have, especially at this time of their life. because they're still trying to figure out who they are. And as parents, it's our responsibility not only to teach them right and wrong, but to also be their support. One thing that, I talked about the connection I have with Ace. One major connection that I have with Ace is through all this, Ace has anxiety. And there was one night he had a complete mental breakdown. And my kids were with us, staying with us. We have my kids every other weekend. And we were going to a place called Desert Hills. They had a Christmas light walk that you could do. And when he came down, he was absolutely just in tears. And so we were talking to him and said, you don't have to go. Who would you like to stay? Many had asked, you want me to stay or do you want Josh to stay? And he's like, well, if you don't mind, I want Josh to stay. Because I myself deal with anxiety, depression, PTSD. And so I know the importance of when someone's going through that, and their anxiety, I understand that they need someone to talk to. And as parents, that's who we need to be for our children. It doesn't matter what, because they're our children.
We need to be their allies.
Exactly.
Yes.
If they can't feel safe in their own home with their own parents, then that's when things turn south for a family. And I've always believed in the family supporting each other, because my parents are amazing. They were always my support system as I was going through PTSD, through when I was in Cedar City with the fire department. I had things I couldn't talk about to anybody else except for those on the department, because they had gone through the same thing, and my parents. Because let's face it, my parents raised me in the civil service community. That's what they did. And so for me, being able to help Ace and support Ace through this time of his life, while he's going through this transition, wow, I can't speak today, but going through this, they are going to have anxiety. They are going to suffer depression. They are going to suffer from anxiety. And as parents, sometimes you don't know what to say. That's okay. You don't have to say anything. Listen to them. Just be there for them. Hug them. Still love them. Because that's really what they need.
And a safe place.
Right.
For sure.
I love that. And
That's awesome.
so, yeah, such a positive answer and so strong. I think what we have found is, regardless of whether or not the parents support it and get it, that child is going to end up somewhere that does supporting them. And you don't know what those people are. You don't know what their intentions are with your child. Why would you chase your child outside of your home for support? Because you don't know what the intentions are of that group or that person that's going to make that child feel welcome and loved and okay. Trust me, there's people out there that would have intentions with that child, and it would be very easy to make them feel loved and needed if they feel like nobody did. And the parents could literally drive their people into the arms of people with really bad intentions. So I think that's really Josh's strong point, is above everything else, make it a safe place. Exactly. Make it a safe place. Don't send them outside for recognition. Don't send them outside for support. Let them fall down here where we can pick them up. Tell them how amazing they are, how great they're doing. And the truth is, we'd be right. Every time we built them up, we'd be right.
Absolutely. It's true. And for all of our kids, we want it to be safe. And it's amazing how all 8 of the other children have been so supportive of Ace. What are the odds of having 9 children and they all support Ace? They all respect Ace. They all call Ace Ace. And they met Ace before their name was Ace. So I don't know. They're just amazing.
And I knew Ace before, and the other day I was sitting there and I was like, I don't even remember Ace's dead
Speak up.
name. I don't remember her dead name. His dead name. Sorry, Ace. I'm terrible with the pronouns, but I
You're
just am grateful that Ace has been so amazing to his parents, because as parents it's hard, but he was so mindful of his mom that my goosebumps were like this high because I just thought, what an amazing teenager, for crap's sakes. Like,
Right.
he's that amazing, and it's because of these two right here and the rest of the community that are giving him high fives.
It's amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
good comment. It's amazing what's possible when people haven't been rejected or felt rejected
Mhm.
or worry about their well-being. It's amazing how quickly you could bridge that gap and how quickly you could accept it when you didn't have to rebuild a relationship that was destroyed
Right.
by bias and by
Mhm.
your own ego, your
Right.
own pride. How am I going to look to my community? How am I going to look to the church? All of these things, when you push everything aside and say, this is my child, this is my person,
Right.
and I'm the honey badger for this person.
Exactly. And that's
You're
what it
welcome
is.
to get to them,
Yeah.
but you got to get
You
through
gotta-
me.
And
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful. We both are. Ace has given us so much grace and so much respect, and because he knew that it was going to change so many different things. But the one thing it didn't change was the love that I have for Ace. Not
Yeah.
even for a second. So
Yeah.
at first, Ace said my preferred pronouns are they, them. Anyway, gave a list, and then eventually cut a little bit by a little bit for my sake.
Right.
And it's just, Ace is an amazing human being, and I'm honored to be his mom, actually.
Boo-hoo-sifoo.
What do I think about elementary children learning about trans? I struggle with really young children. I actually, it can't be really discussed in elementary school. That's, it just can't be.
At home, it's one thing, but out of school, it just can't.
You
But
can't.
two out of the three of my youngest are in elementary school. My son Dalton, who is in middle school, came out to us as gay 2 years ago. And again,
You-
that to me, like, I've always known just how he was. I just had this feeling. I just knew. But my youngest kids have taken the transition to Ace, like, they have grasped it so well and so easily, and they make it and that to Ace has meant so much. Our kids are such a tight-knit group. They actually they latched on to each other, and they get along so well. And I think it's because they see how we are together as a husband and wife, as parents to each of them. And that makes it so much easier.
Right.
Do you feel like it would be easier for Ace or harder for Ace if, let's say, there was only, one other child as opposed to 9 children in the home? Do you think the support is better for him, or do you feel it would have been easier to be focused on a little more?
I just think we are really blessed that it turned out the way it did. I think it gives Ace more support,
Yeah.
Exactly.
because if we didn't have those 8 other, like the 6 I call them bonus. I refuse to call them step. They're bonus kids.
Yeah.
The 6 bonus kids are an added support. So of course I can't even imagine my life without that support for Ace. And the thing I love about them is they're each other's biggest cheerleaders.
Oh.
So
Isn't
love
that
that.
great? There's no substitute for support, is there?
no.
And then
No.
your child is going to find support somewhere.
Somewhere.
So provide it to them, and then you don't have to wonder where they're going to get it from
Exactly.
I love
and
this.
what they're going to have to pay for it.
This comment said, "Finally, a positive account. You're educating in such a great way. Love, love."
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank you
love
for
that.
being here.
Guys.
Thank you
I
for
love
being
that.
here. You know, guys, last night about midnight, Andrea and I posted another video, and it was kind of in response to some of the comments that have been said on this live, which is specifically to Andrea. So, are you a lesbian? Do you consider yourself a lesbian? La 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 la. And so we did a fun video where she's choosing, who she's feeling like, being with. And so there's Kevin, Allyssa, and we thought back and forth for a long time as to whether or not that's a message we want to put out. And I want to explain why it is. It's not because we want to make things sexual. It is because there's so many people who are listening to us on this who need to know, gosh, I can do more. I can be more. I don't have to go all the way. I can still be who I need to be and still get to feel how I need to feel. And we want to send a message to the spouses that this is not a life sentence to boredom and to having stuff you don't want. That the variety, that the texture of this relationship can be so beautiful and so romantic. And so we wanted to send a message to all the trans people out there that are just doing their best to be their bravest, to walk to the mailbox in heels or go outside with makeup or take the next step. And we want to just let them know that you don't have to go all the way, all in one step, or all the way ever if that's not what's healthy for you, to still feel good about being you. And so it is a little lighter video, and we appreciate that. But we got some interesting comments from that video. But the bottom line is that the target audience was for the spouses and for the trans people, just letting them know, you've got a really, really broad, great thing here, and don't underplay it because people don't understand it.
Right.
We never have to cap ourselves at the level of other people's expectations for us. And if your switches are turned on, then use those switches that are turned on. That's your right, and you don't need permission, and you don't need to feel bad for that. So thank you for your support of that video. It really means a lot. It was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it was fun.
How hot is Andrea, huh? like smoking hot.
Stop.
I'm sweating like
Freaking menopause. Now, like, you guys enough. All these wonderful comments.
I know,
There
it
was a
awesome. There was a question, but it's
question,
gone now.
It was about how do you feel about parents gender neutrally
Neutral. Yeah.
doing the gender neutrality to their child while they decide. Again, with our experience, when Ace came out, he had said, my preferred pronouns are he, him, they, them, she, her, because we were transitioning as well. And doing the gender neutral thing while they're still trying to figure that out, that actually proves to your child that you support them, that you are willing to go through this journey with them.
Yeah.
And that to them, that will prove to them that they are loved, that they have that safe space, that their home with you is what it should be.
Yeah.
Their safe place, their loving place.
And it's on
So.
their time. It's on their terms.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
as a parent, I would think that you'd have to just have the patience would be hard for me. Like, wait, come on, buddy, let me know
Right.
so I can support you better. But by backing away, that is showing support. Is that what I'm
Right.
feeling?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I loved how Ace, it's kind of like how when you are like potty training a kid,
Yeah.
I'm just making this up as I go, but like they have a diaper, okay? So they need the diaper. Then you let the diaper go and then you use pull-ups. So then you let the pull-ups go and then you're on your own. So Ace was like, okay, I want my preferred to be this, and this. And then once we got comfortable with that, took away the they, them. Oh no,
The
she, her. Took that away first, left
Then-
us with
How
they, them,
much?
he, him. And then,
Then that's where
then it got to
he just
him.
dropped they, them, because we were already using he, him. And so it was just like, okay, now you don't need this. Here we go. Here it is.
Right. And if
Just like
I
training wheels.
exactly, that's better than diapers.
We're moms. I get you, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Someone had asked how they wanted to know how you and I met.
Yes.
Tinder, actually.
Yelling
Tinder.
Tinder. I swiped first.
She swiped first, but I messaged first, and we
Okay.
just
Clicked
through
ever
message.
since
Yeah,
then.
we messaged each other and
It's
just clicked and just
Cutest couple.
built that relationship through that. Our first date when we met up was, of course, kind of a blind date, even though we saw pictures. Sorry, let me take some breath here. Even though we saw pictures of each other, I was so nervous I couldn't even speak. My legs were bouncing. She
It
could
was so
tell,
cute.
so she,
I'm like, we need a table for two.
yeah, so she kind of took charge of it. And then we just never looked back.
Well, let me ask you this. So you meet up on Tinder. Were you kind of going, okay, don't ask how many kids I have. I don't want to say that I've got 6.
I actually put it.
Yeah.
I
that-
put it on my profile.
Okay,
So I
have
willingly
surprises
swiped.
that way. Okay.
knowing that I was going to be involved with someone with 6 kids.
6 kids, yep.
So, and I don't regret. It's a lot of work, but I don't regret it.
She's seriously the best mom
Oh, you're
to,
Traded,
to my kids. Like, she's just a good mama bear all around.
We traded my 7-passenger van over for a 15-passenger van.
Whoa.
And it needs some work, but one of our friends decided to name it Sully
Oh yeah. Totally. After the Octomom.
after the
remember?
Octomom.
Her last name was like something something.
Solomon.
But, yeah.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
Well,
But yeah, so
that's how we
Well
met.
said.
and like I said, when I met Ace, Bailey, and Logan, like immediately just connections were made.
And the same when I met his.
Yeah, and
Dalton
the kids
actually
immediately
asked if
go
I
home.
could be his stepmom that
Yeah, pinky
first day.
promised.
Yeah, we pinky promised.
wow.
So
Hey, let me ask you a question. When Ace came out and said, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I would like to identify," was it a complete shock, or did you start to connect some dots? Were you like, "Oh, all of a sudden things are making sense," or was it just like this?
My first reaction, if I'm being like completely honest, was okay. It lasted for about this long. But then right after that, I probably only lived there for literally 2 seconds. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. I love you just as much now as I did 10 seconds ago, maybe even more. I didn't even, but yes, to answer your questions, things started to like click. Like, okay, that makes sense. That it makes sense to me. People on our outer world are like, well, Ace used to always have to have their hair perfectly curled and perfectly this and perfectly. Ace is very still much that way. Has to look perfect. So
And he
it's just-
does.
And he does. He
Like-
takes very much pride in how he looks. So
Yep.
yeah, it made sense. But yeah.
well, it works out for me because since my kids are only with us every other weekend, we don't keep a lot of clothes for them at the house. But with Ace, if I decide I don't want button-up shirts, because button-up shirts Ace absolutely loves, I can be like, hey, buddy, you like this shirt? Yeah, it's yours. I can actually hand those off to someone. And
Oh,
So
it just goes along with that connection, and
yes.
it brings us closer together every step of the way.
and that is something I have to say about Josh.
Cheaper by the dozen moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing I love about this whole thing is that everything works out the exact same way it's supposed to. I'm not so much a religious person, but I'm very spiritual. So Josh is the perfect husband for this situation.
Thank you for the
The
rose.
perfect dad for this situation. He is the perfect dad for Ace. He gets it. He understands. Josh strives to understand, strives to learn. strives to love all of the kids. And I know that he's the dad for that reason. So kudos to Josh, because I signed up for 6 kids and he, without batting an eye, and he's going through this without even hesitation. So I think that speaks a lot about him as
And
well.
I just met Josh for the first time tonight.
Yep.
But I feel like I know Josh through Mandy because of the way they are together. It's like this cute little couple that you just want to squish. Like, are you kidding me? You're the cutest. Is it for real? And it's for real, and they're genuine. And this is why their kids have the great support system that they have, and that's why they've turned out so great. That's why Ace is so great, because of this. So shout out to my
Yeah,
Pete.
absolutely.
Thank
But
you.
let me ask you this. Is there any fear that you have for Ace that's like, oh my gosh, I'm just so, this keeps me up at night still?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yeah, there are things that I fear. I fear the world because
Yeah.
the world is full of.
Can't hear. We should turn it up.
Is it TikTok they can't hear?
Is it TikTok you guys can't hear? Or is it just because we're
Are you getting the message on
stopped?
TikTok?
Yeah.
All right, we'll speak up a little bit. If I move the camera closer, it's so cool. I mean, I can. I just have to sit and turn it to whoever.
We'll be like
is-
cheek to cheek.
So we'll try to speak louder.
Louder. Okay.
Yes.
I'll use my voice.
Feet are out, my voice is inside.
So yeah, there are actual fears, but again, I'm not one to let fears like hold me back, which
Mhm.
might not be a good thing, but I do have fears of it's mainly how people in our current circle will treat Ace. If they're not in our circle right now, then I don't need to worry about them because I don't know if they exist or not. But the thing I worry about now is how, especially in this community, how they will be accepted, how he will be accepted. He's in an ally school, which I love this high school so much. It's a safe place, so I don't have to worry at all at school. That is such a blessing. We don't have to worry one iota when Ace is at that school.
What a relief.
Which is so
you.
good because, I mean, but I get, as a parent, I get some really big doozies of questions from people that I would never think that I would get doozy questions from. But I try to take them all as from a place of love. Most of them, I think they come from a place of love. But yeah,
So
there
let me
is
ask
fear.
you, the resistance that you felt, or the friction or conflict that you felt, has it come more from a moral way, or just a not understanding perspective? Does it?
Both. Both is moral and but I would say mostly it comes from moral. I would bet.
So they're questioning your judgment, letting a child change genders because of the morality of it all.
Yes. And the fact, okay, so I had someone ask me at workplace, which number one, probably shouldn't happen at work. Asking me how can you let, this is a quote, so I'm quoting them, just so everyone knows. How can you let her do that because she is so beautiful? And I said, it isn't about that. It is about love. It's about love. Ace is a he, and from here on out, I would ask that you refer
Do
to
the thing.
him as he. So the way I look at it, which might be, you tell me if it's crazy, but I'm the mom. So if the mom, the one who brought this beautiful, perfect child into the world, is supporting it, then
Bye-bye.
why can't anybody, then, you know what I mean? If the mom gets it, then I don't really
Yeah.
have time for.
It is strange how strong people's opinion can be.
Oh, yeah.
Who simply don't understand your family, the dynamics, the
I believe
morality.
Josh is his biological dad.
That's so great.
I mean, it's just like,
I believe he is
no, I
too.
moved him.
Even though I know
Having
scientifically
tissues
he's
already.
not, I do believe that he is a biological dad too. But yeah, so does that answer that question?
I think so.
Yeah. So but your biggest fear is still the world. Your biggest fear is still the mentality of the people.
Yeah.
Because they do have a very, very strong opinion about something they don't understand. But yet they seem to have a super, super moral opinion about a
Thank
non-moral
you,
event.
Karen, for
A
that
non
comment.
a non-moral event
I
would
like that
be,
you say it that way.
a non-moral event would be an event that happens that has no consequence to anybody else. You're eating chocolate ice cream, you're eating vanilla ice cream. It doesn't matter one you pick. There's no morality in that. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect Andrea. It's right.
Right.
So the clothes you put on should be a non-moral event to everybody else
Right.
who doesn't have to answer for that.
Yes.
Right. So it's interesting how many people feel so strong about the clothes that I wear, right?
Right.
And they don't give two thoughts about wearing sandals with socks. Come on. Come on.
Sister.
Coming back. You're wearing a blouse and you're wearing sandals with socks? Get out of here with that hypocrisy.
But you know what, Alyssa? Ace is one of the most confident 14-year-olds you will ever meet in
I
your
love
life.
that.
Let me.
No
You
matter
go, bro.
They are so confident. He is so confident that he just turned 14 this year, which would put him in 8th grade. He actually, at the end of
Whole neighborhood.
his 7th grade year, he wanted to skip a grade. So they talked to the counselor. He was the top in his class and allowed him to skip a grade. He is in high school. He's a freshman in high school. He is a year younger than everybody else in his class. But he is one of the smartest kids we know. Because like we said, he researches stuff. And it's amazing. Like, he will, even to buy something online, he will research it. He'll look at reviews from Amazon and from other places before he decides this is what I really want.
So historically, the children who are in homes where acceptance is not a thing, they may be brilliant like Ace. They may be so academically, talented, but once they recede within themselves and decide, I'm not interested in learning, I'm not interested in growing, I'm not interested in existing, all of that potential just gets flushed down the toilet with their parents' ego. Just gets flushed. All of that future, turns into ketchup. They don't spend their life excelling at what they were born to do. They spend their life trying to catch up to everybody else's expectations for them. How frustrating and discouraging is that? What parent wants that for their child? This is homes like this, nurture and protect the natural talents and abilities and passions that we want all of our kids to have. As parents, we spend all of our time trying to figure out what's important to our kids. Here's a child that says, here's what's important to me. Here's the most important to me, and here's how you can support me. So how do you reject it when one of your people says, this is exactly what I need to grow and be my best self?
Exactly.
Kudos to you guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
Kudos.
Thank you. Because ultimately, isn't that what we want for everybody in our lives? Like,
You would think.
the best. Like, make the best. So I had people when I got divorced that didn't understand why. But it made me a better version of myself. He makes me a better version of who I am. So if you want someone to be their best version, different show for different day. Then you want them to be their best self. So can I go back? I got a message from
Yes, please go back.
Ace.
Just go back. Oh, for me.
Yeah. So that elementary school question like should it be discussed in, and I said absolutely not in school. I was referring to elementary school. I think elementary school is such like a, I know elementary really well. Like that's something that you can then, like if a kid comes to you, I think then you can say, how about, I don't know. I think in elementary school it can be kind of
Kind
scary.
of
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't know how to react. Like I wouldn't know how to handle it in elementary. But I think in middle school and high school, where the hormones are, I think that that's a safe place if they feel safe to talk to their teacher about it. My own personal Mandy Stewart opinion is if they feel comfortable talking with it with somebody at school, then I think then that's okay. Just like
Just
I
so you
don't
can give them the help.
exactly. I don't think a teacher on either side should give like a certain thing says a certain agenda. So either side, I don't think a teacher should give an agenda about anti-trans or an agenda about pro-trans. I just think you should love. If you are teaching, if you're a
A
teacher,
lot of
you
people
should
are
just do it
agreeing.
all with love.
Yeah.
And the reality is, the other kids in elementary school couldn't care less.
You're
Right.
right.
The only ones that are throwing a fit are the parents,
Exactly.
right? The reality
And
is,
the
regardless, if my kid is not happy, and all I have to do is allow them to wear a dress to school, that teacher
Okay.
should be able to
Yeah.
teach my child, reading and writing and math and everything else she's going to teach, regardless of what they're wearing.
Right.
The other kids, they don't care. It's going to work itself out. We don't need transgender education. We don't need gay education. We don't need any of that in the elementary school. What we need is a teacher that can demonstrate with their example. This is what unconditional love and service look like, and we're going to learn the most together, and we're going to grow the most together. And that's why this is the group that's going to change everything. Leave all the sex at home. Let the
Yeah.
parents do that, with the unique situation of each individual child. So that's
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that is
you
awesome.
totally
Okay,
can.
so someone said, I wish I would have been more loving when my son came out as gay. Don't beat yourself, whatever you do, don't beat yourself up with that. Because it's a shock. As supportive, and I'll probably get emotional, as supportive as I am, it is still like, I don't want to say hard, it's still a change.
Mm-hmm.
So my love never changed. The way I addressed it was with love, but that's just because I didn't that's just who I am, naturally. But don't beat yourself up for that. Your son, right? It was a
Yes,
son, right? Your son loves you, and your son knows that you love him. I'm sure of it. The fact, don't focus on now and forward. Focus
Yeah.
on right this
Thank
very
you for the
second
rose.
and forward. Don't
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
just
you.
move forward.
Be as supportive as you can now going forward, so that they know that they are loved by you and that they can come to you with anything, no matter what.
Can you imagine the consequence of that child never feeling safe to tell their parents they were gay? And so for years, they would hide their boyfriend or significant other from them. Can you imagine, as a parent, never knowing who your children love and turn to for their support, their loyalty? Like, you
Yeah,
just
that
ripped
breaks
that
my
part of your
heart.
life right out of your future and throws it in the garbage by choice.
Right.
Why would you ever not want to know all of your people's people and what's important to them and who supports them and who protects them? And
Yeah.
it's okay to not get it at first. It's not okay,
Thank
to
you for
keep
the
not getting it
flowers.
because you want to defend your previous biases. That's not okay. Mistakes happen until we get more information, but you make the mistake twice. It's not a mistake. It's a choice. Just choose not to turn them away, because they need you now probably more than they needed you before when you didn't react the right way.
Right.
So just
And we as parents, holy cow, I don't know what that big thing is. A
Oh,
swing.
amazing.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
it's
see
a
it.
heart swing.
Aw, thank you. I know we as parents, we always look back and go, I wish I would have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I should have said this instead. So I'm guilty of that. every parent is guilty
Mhm.
of that, but also the fact that you just said that you wish you would have been better just proves that you're that good of a person.
You are better.
Exactly.
And
You are.
you're better already. And so I commend you for that.
Me too. That,
Oh,
me
thank you
too,
for the
100%.
pretty
Oh, this is
swan.
one. How fun that is.
Oh, yeah. I love how it's not about what you should have done; it's about what you do now. I think
That's
that
right.
is perfectly
Yeah,
said.
that's
Yeah.
so good.
Oh, I right, and I think some are afraid to tell their parents. I mean,
Oh.
Ace even like didn't know how to say because he was afraid of my reaction.
This
And I'm
is what a
so
comment.
thankful.
Somebody commented that same thing.
Read it out
I
loud.
think part of me not telling my parents was because I hadn't accepted myself.
Hadn't accepted myself. I've got to reject myself so that I'm more palatable to the people I care most about. I would rather lie to them than be rejected by them.
Wow.
I mean, what a situation to be in, and that I will give away myself to keep whatever portion of a fake relationship that I'm hanging on to. You know, they'll never know me, but I'd rather have a half a relationship than no relationship. So, you know,
I love her
Stuff.
response.
There was a
So
comment as well. Someone had come out as trans to their parents, and their parents threatened to kick them out. They want to know if we have any tips to help the parents understand. My tip, not for the parents, is to you. There are times in our lives where we have to cut toxic people out of our lives. If they can't support who we are, then we have to kick them out of our lives. We have, and it sucks. And
Yeah.
I've known people who were threatened to get kicked out of the home as well. But once you are happy with who you are, a parent should have an open heart, not just an open mind, but an open heart, and to be able to support you.
Oh, thanks for the perfume.
So my tip for you is to continue to be who you are.
And hold on to the people that do.
Yes,
love you.
exactly. Hold on
Well,
to
your
those
parents
people
love
who
you.
support you, who are going to be there for you, and find the people in your life that are your support group.
Mhm.
Because
And be open to
Exactly.
those people.
exactly.
Right.
Because just doing this, I've had friends text me and call me that I haven't talked to for years and has said, "Oh my gosh, I love you, I support you." And had I been more open, maybe, obviously it wasn't the right time to tell my friends that I was in a trans relationship, but I'm so grateful for those people who reached out to me. So if there are people that you know that are going through this or transitioning or coming out, make sure you give them a message, because those messages from my friends helped carry me through, and I love it.
Comment your TikToks. People want to know your
So thank you.
so that they can click it and it'll take you to it.
you know, parents, I would just say, you know, they're not coming to tell you, and they're not hoping to not get beat. You know, they're not coming to tell you that they hoping not to get kicked out. It's a risk that they're taking. They're coming to you and saying, I would rather risk being kicked out of your home than to risk not having a real relationship with you. They're not coming to you for permission. They're coming to you because they want a different relationship with you that's more honest and more genuine, and risking being kicked out and put on your own in this world when you're already so confused anyway. That's how important it is to them for you to know. So, you know, keep in mind that they're coming to you and saying, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. I know you're not going to understand it, but I know that I want to have a real relationship with you, and you'll never understand me unless you know this information.
Yeah.
And take whatever you need to process that information, before sending the message. Just make sure that whatever message you send is going to be one that you're going to want to be proud of. It is tough, and nobody's got all the answers. That's the reality, because every child is different, and those needs are different, and their fears are different, their support is different. And every one of your friends has advice for you, but none of them are in a position they would even understand the question. So at some point you got to just take accountability for your own people, and you can't let your friends make those decisions. You can't make the popular, they'll make the decisions, or your church, because none of those things are going to be accountable for your people. You alone will be accountable for your kid. And you can argue with me, and you can get on your knees, and you can negotiate with God. But at the end of your life, that child is still going to be that child. The difference is the parent that you are between today and then has everything to do with how you feel about it now. So make the decision. I can't delegate the accountability for this child's mental health. I'm alone accountable for that. What can I do to make sure that this kid has all of the unfair advantages that I can personally provide it?
Yeah.
And that's a kid that's going to win. That's a kid that's going to take the world and not bow down to the world. They're going to stand up for themselves because you believe in them, and you're always going to be there. So, that's what I would say.
I think that's very, very, very true. There's a question. My son is gay and he likes wearing women's clothing. I accept him, but how can I protect? That's actually a really good question. Josh's son, he likes to wear women's clothing, and in fact, this last weekend he asked me, "Hey, can I wear a dress?" But the only dresses he could have fit were Ace's old dresses, and we don't have them anymore. But
How old?
he's 10, he's 11.
11.
11.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my advice for that, I would let him in the home. Then I would talk to him like that you are free to do it. And you're free to do it. Me as Mandy, I would say I would let him do it. And then I would be willing to protect him when he comes home. That's Mandy's answer, 100% honest. That's what Mandy would do as the mom.
Mm-hmm.
I even told Dalton, if I had a dress, I would let you wear it, buddy. We've taken him to the park in a dress. What people are going to think, it's on them. It's no reflection on you. And I think as parents, we kind of think that, like, we take the judgment as a reflect, oh man, I'm a crap ball of a mom. I'm a crap ball of a dad. I let my kids be trans. No, not true. It's not true. You are their safe place. And as long as he feels safe when he comes home, I would let him do it. What do you think?
I'd let him do it too. Because as a parent, you want your child to be happy.
Yeah.
That's your number one. Yeah. And they need to experience that. And as a parent, if you're out there with them, then go mama bear. I mean, that's all I can say. Go mama bear. If people want to judge not just your kid, but you, I just go full bore mama bear.
But most people won't say it out loud. Most people won't say it to you out loud.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible for you to talk Ace or your other child out of being interested in, other gender stuff? Do you think it's possible to talk them out of it, or beat it out of them, or punish it out of them? Do you think that that's even a reality? Because
No.
I asked that question last week, and a lot of people said I wouldn't do it. If my child was suffering, I would not allow them to put a girl dress on. That's not something I would allow.
No, my number one end all for this whole is shame. I don't like feeling shamed. None of us like feeling shamed. So why would we shame a person that we were held accountable for? I am never and I'm sure I've shamed, oh man, you spilled a glass of milk. Like, that's just a little shame. This is a big enchilada. You're handed this huge enchilada. You only have one chance. Shame is so, 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 so dangerous. I've thought about this a lot. It's easier for me, and again, this is Mandy speaking. It's easier for me to love and fully love unconditionally than to one day, than to shame, 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 and then the one day live in regret and not be able to take anything back because they're no longer with us. That is what I would never be able to forgive myself. So love is what I was blessed with, the ability when I was born to be full of love and light. And I think it's for this reason.
You need to address this right now.
You know, my question, you know, somebody said that they've been very, very depressed in their life and you know, have committed or at least thought about committing suicide.
Because no one understands.
And no one understands. And if you could respond and help all of us, what is it that you would like them to understand? What is it, if you had a wand, if you had this straw wand right here, and you could say, you know, what I need you to understand is this. Boom. What is it that you would like them to understand that would be the difference for you? What does support look like for you? That I would love for you to respond and let us know what support looks like for you and what you would need. Not only would we be able to support you better, but we probably would be good advice for our own families and situations. So, number one, I'm sorry that you're in a dark place, but you're in the right place right now with people that get it, with people that care. You know, don't give up now. We're too close. We're too close to having the tools and the thinking and the people that we need so that you don't have to live in shame and you don't have to live in secret. We don't want either one of those things for you. You know, mental illness, of course. How long could you not be who you needed to be before you weren't healthy mentally? Everybody forced to live a reality that's not comfortable or natural for them is going to feel less than healthy. So, you know, you're in the right place. So, you know, be sad, but be sad here and tell us what you need and tell us, you know, what would be meaningful to you. And we're going to get a much better insight, not only into your life, but the lives of many people that we're interested in supporting. So don't give up and stay here with us.
And there's a lot of support groups in the area. Someone also had said that. We even have one here. So going along with what Allyssa said, your safe place is here with Andrea and Allyssa, and we're safe too, if you can find us. So we're safe. But there's safe places in the community. There's a place here in our area where ACE has gone a couple times, and it's for the LGBTQ plus community. I almost said neighborhood. Same thing.
I refer to this as our neighborhood. So,
but then I just address one thing that a lot of people and it kills me that I've been accused of this. This is the number one thing, is that me allowing my child to be trans is child abuse.
Anything but. It's far from it.
I want to tell you something. I lived in a 20-year marriage with child abuse, wife abuse, spouse abuse, dog abuse, fish abuse, not fish, but every kind of abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. This is not child abuse. I have lived abuse. I have witnessed abuse. This is not abuse. Abuse does not come from a place of love. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I love that.
Mic drop.
I love that.
And I also have something to say on it too. If a parent yells, screams at their child for doing a minor thing wrong, what does that do to a child's mental health? Abuse just isn't physical. It's mental. It's emotional. And guess what? If you are yelling at your child over a stupid little thing, that affects them mentally and emotionally, where they're not going to trust you anymore.
And so then a big thing.
Yeah, and then it turns into a big thing. And if they don't, If they feel that they can't have that support with their parents, they'll go elsewhere. They'll find somewhere to find that support. They'll turn to other things, whether it's drugs, become an alcoholic, which leads to everything else.
Yeah, it is not well said. That's very well said. It's not, that's the number one trigger. If someone accuses me of child abuse, that's where my positivity kind of fades because I come from a place from love. So pretty much everything I do is love.
Let Alyssa know that I just want my parents to just accept me for being trans. Yeah,
I'll
I'm
be
sorry.
your mom.
Yeah, you're
I will be
welcome
too.
here, but you know, it's tough. I don't know what your background is. I don't know what the culture is. I don't know what the spiritual background is. But it's a different generation, and I don't know how old you are or your parents are. But the reality is, most people don't get it. But they're gonna have to get it because being trans is so common now, and it's so out there in everybody's family that they don't have the ability to no longer make the tough decisions. They're going to have to start figuring out what's important and who is important. And so I wouldn't give up on them. You know, it's hard to understand. It is for you. You've been fighting it for however old you are, or at least trying to
They
understand
told
it.
their parents 2 years ago, and they're still against it.
2 years ago. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They may or may not come around, you know, in time for you. But I would stay close with the community that is, and I wouldn't give up on them just because they didn't get it now, just because they weren't there for you in your darkest hour. It's okay because you haven't had your brightest hour yet. And if you'll not disengage and if you'll leave that bridge built, then they may still be there in your brightest hour. So, you know, there's other people out there, you know, that will help you in your darkest hour. So, you know, leave the bridge in place. You don't have to cross it until you're good and ready to either. But I wouldn't burn it yet, and I would keep giving them the opportunity, you know, to ask questions and to understand, because there will come an aha moment, and I want that to still be an opportunity for you. But I'm very, very sorry that in 2 years, you know, your parents haven't put probably a religious principle above their people, and I apologize for that. You know, it's it's unfortunate, and you're not the only one. I wish you were the only one. You're not the only one, but you're welcome here for sure. So stay with us, and thank you for being here.
And a lot of it, I bet, is coming from fear.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like,
I think a lot of it's coming from ego.
Yeah.
Either the church is making them feel bad, or their friends are going to make them feel bad. Either way, it doesn't matter. Which is a better way to shame your child? Is there a more righteous way than another of shaming and making your child be discouraged and unhealthy and sad and resentful and untrusting? Can you imagine your child leaving your house after all those years and not being able to trust a soul? Or not knowing who they can trust?
Yeah, I would.
Can you
hate that.
imagine?
Yeah.
And as a parent, you're going, well, that's a screwed up kid. No, that's a kid. You're the parent. If you teach in a way that child doesn't understand, it's not a dumb child. It's terrible teaching.
Right.
And at some level, we have to be accountable for our people. It doesn't mean we have to agree with what they do. It doesn't mean that we always have to interfere with what they do. It means that we could be interested in protecting them no matter what happens.
Exactly. Yep. And I agree. And sometimes as parents, it's hard to put your ego aside. Well, for some, I've never had that problem. I'm sure with some things, but not this. Which you would think that in a moment like this would be like a whoa. Like that's the reaction I get from most people in my tight circle is like, I'm so sorry you have to go through this. Wait, why are you sorry? Like this is not like they're not dying. Like you know, I'm not sorry because I'm learning so much. I feel like this has given me like a purpose. I feel like this is, you know, something I want to be a support group for the parents.
Well, let me ask you. So on that note, then, is there a time where you felt a huge loss, you know, of this, you know, female child that you raised and grew with, did you ever have a moment where you're like, they're gone forever, like this huge hole in my life?
No, but I do look at Time Hop, the app, and it reminds me of like,
They're wondering.
like,
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember, da da da. But it isn't Ace what he was wearing. It isn't how his hair looked. I remember the moment. So no, I never felt a loss. I felt here's our next chapter of our life. I'm ready for it. Is that how did you feel? Well, you only knew the
Little bit.
previous Ace for a
But
short time, but
It's like you keep saying, they're still the same person.
Right.
They still have the same personality, they still act the same. So in a way, there is no
we gained. I feel.
yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it's a
That's
game.
how I feel. Like I've
It's a
gained
game.
another person
Human.
in
Do
my
you
life.
feel like Ace has a different dimension of their personality that you wouldn't have seen before? Like, oh my gosh, Ace is so witty or charming, or
No, always the same human.
it's just the same
The
human.
same human.
Same human.
These are the words of Ace. Mom, all you gotta do is change a word from she to he. That easy. Bam! That's all it is, guys. It's just a word. It's she to he. Ace is the most hilarious human. If you're lucky enough to be in Ace's circle, you are a lucky human.
Yes,
And-
absolutely.
No, Ace is Ace. Ace is Ace. And I can't even remember the last time I slipped not calling it. Like, Ace is Ace. That's it. So I feel like we gained.
Yes.
So, and that's how you feel.
Yeah, totally. I feel like in the video when people are like, why do you say you have the best of both worlds? Well, here I am, a cisgender person who married a male who is in the middle of transition. So I get to experience the fluffiness of being a girl. I get to experience the manliness of a man and go on a motorcycle ride with Kevin. And you know what? One day, Allyssa and I are going to be on that motorcycle with our hair flying everywhere. And I can't wait for that. But I just am waiting for the community really to not make me scared.
Yes, that
What a great thank you.
was amazing.
Yeah, the community's got a long way to go. Let me ask you this. What do you feel like your biggest fear is the reaction of the public? What do you think the public's main reason for rejecting the idea of a transgender person? What do you think the biggest fear is? Well, what I haven't heard anybody say is, well, if we let everyone dress how they want, then we can expect this. Like, what is this? Tell me what the next step is, and let's see, is that better or worse than half of the transgender people trying to kill themselves? Is it worse or better than that? Like, what happens next? And nobody is willing to say what happens next. They just want to quote, a leader or church or something else. No, what is next when we let people be healthy? What does that look like? That's
A breath of fresh air is what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm.
so. What are people afraid of?
Change.
Change.
Just not the unknown.
The unknown.
I think for so long it was taboo,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no need for that. There's no need.
Well, look at the comments, guys. Please tell me what you're probably watching this going. You're all a bunch of crackpots anyway. This is what's going to happen. Tell us what's going to happen. Let's discuss that. I would be interested to know, what is going to happen once we allow people to be as healthy as they can.
Oh,
What is it?
pause. We're not taking.
We don't do this for reaction. We don't do this.
Yes,
we do this to
instead we should
educate.
all take our own lives.
It's all about education.
Mm-hmm.
And I've suffered from depression. I thought about suicide. At one point, I was 18. I about did take my own life.
It's not a joking matter.
No, it's not a joking matter. I've had friends, I've had family, close friends, close family, that have taken their lives. When you are at that low, you feel like there's nowhere else to go. And people like, well, it's all in your head. Well, yeah, no, duh. But see, even mental illness is still a taboo topic, just like everything else that people don't understand. If you don't understand it, oh, we can't talk about it. No, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be brought out. Utah has the highest teenage suicide rate in the country. Why? Because of bullying, because of non-acceptance. People don't feel like they can go somewhere and be safe. So they feel like they only have one option. I'm here today to tell you, if we can talk about it and understand it better,
Yeah.
guess what? We're going to have a better country, a better community, better world. People always talk about wanting peace, but yet they come on to someone's live or they get on with their little keyboards and try to bully people. And
Don't
guess what?
mess with Allyssa.
But it's like, what are you here to accomplish? We are here to accomplish education. And that's what this is all about. This is what it comes down to, is education.
And love.
And love.
Yeah.
Exactly. And love. Because without those things, you've got a messed up world.
And when we say education, we don't mean that we're here because we have the answers. We don't. We don't even know what all the questions are yet. But we figure if we do this in front of you, we could figure out what some of those questions and answers are going to look like, and what our children are going to need to know and be prepared for, for later. So, this is not about teaching you what to think. This is about just opening some ideas so you can figure out what to think from here. You don't have to make any decisions tonight. Hopefully, you're still several nights from someone coming to you and needing help and support. Hopefully, you're still a few nights away from that if you don't know where you stand right now. But listen to the stories. This is not people abusing their kids or forcing their kids to do anything. It's not possible to talk your transgender child out of being trans. It's not an option. So if that's not an option, and there's not a cure, and there's not medicine, what are you going to do? What are your choices as a parent if what your child needs more than anything else is to feel authentic, and that's it? A wardrobe is the answer to your child's problems. They don't need any medicines or anything like that to be happy and healthy and full of life and vigor. All they need is the ability to pick their own clothes. You won't do it? Come on with that. Don't you hope that you don't have some significant need that somebody else just doesn't care about, that doesn't understand? The reality is they're going to go somewhere. They have to, because survival depends on it. If they go off by themselves, you better follow them. But they're going to end up in a group, and you don't know what that group has in store for them or what that group needs of them. Yeah. But you take somebody who's already insecure, who already's been beat up, who's been bullied, who has a low self-esteem, and put them in front of strong people, and it's going to be a disaster for your person. It's going to be a disaster. Create the person that you want them to be before you even let them leave the house. Protect them so much and just make them feel so safe they don't even want to leave. And when they're strong enough, they will, and they'll have a chance of surviving at that point. Yeah. You kick them out when they're weak, then you should get to pay that penalty with them, whatever happens. But you kick them out and you hold them tight while they're strong, and you get to embrace them and protect them for the rest of both your lives. And that's where success lies. I don't care what church you go. That's where love lies. That's where peace, that's where harmony reside, in that space.
Yeah, it's true. We're trying to keep up with the questions, and if I don't get to those questions, please re-ask the questions, and maybe some of our mods can text me or something and say, don't forget this question. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't want to interrupt because this is so important. So yeah, ask away and we'll try to get to you.
Did anybody respond to, hey, no, if you guys go through, if people get to wear what they want, then you can expect a zombie apocalypse, and there's going to be, bows tied on every tree, and,
We need to reintroduce them.
Okay, guys, welcome. If you just got here, It's
Hey.
8:30. We've already been going for almost an hour and a half.
We have.
How
Wow.
fast did that go? Right? I'm Alyssa. My name is Alyssa. This is my wife Andrea of 25 years. I'm 50 years old. She's 26 years old in that area. I can't remember exactly.
Add double that.
This is these are our really good friends Mandy and Josh. They have a transgender teenage child, and they've kindly come in and are sharing with us, what that feels like, and maybe what you can expect with that, and maybe some of the challenges that you'll have to work around. So thank you guys for being here. It's been amazing. So there's more questions coming in. So please, you're welcome to ask questions to these guys, or you're welcome to ask questions to Andrea or myself. It doesn't matter. Whatever is comfortable for you.
And people have commented about your cup. So if you want a cup, that apparently we have merch. You can go on our link and you can go. This is one of 4. It's a collection edition.
This one, but I think that the one that you
But-
can get in the merch store is very, very
Yeah,
similar, right?
it's pretty much the same, just a little bit different. Pink.
But yeah, when we ordered these are more expensive than you think. So I got 4 of them, and we've given 2 away in samples. And but yeah, we have a little merch store, and if you want to go and buy anything in there for just not because you agree with me or believe me, but it just shows the person in your life. Hey, I'm trying. I get it. You're important, and I'm not afraid to wear something, that says trans on it. Whatever is good for you. I'm not trying to build my brand. You're trying to build a brand of your people, and whatever it takes to build your family brand is going to be worth it to you. I promise.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here, and thank you for asking these guys and being so polite. We have so many young trans people that listen in on this, and that's why we don't entertain questions about sexuality and this and intimacy, and we don't use language that we wouldn't want our young people listening to, because they're young trans watching this right now, and they're hearing what we're saying, and they're seeing what you're saying, and they're trying to determine right now how safe it is for them to go to their parents, how safe it is to go to their teacher or their friends or whatever else. And you are influencing that decision one way or the other. So if we don't get to some of your questions that seem maybe a little, and I know they're good questions. If you're a spouse of a trans, you want to know about the intimacy part. What does that look like for me? How did that go? What's going on now? What have you had done? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? So I understand why all of those things are important, and we don't get to all those things all the time. If I know especially that there are younger people who are participating in this, which quite often I know ahead of time that is the case. Somebody will reach out and say, just so you know, this is going on and this person will be there. And, I feel great. I feel great that they're coming here to see what a neighborhood feels like, to see what coming out feels like. I'm glad that this is the group of people that wrap their arms around them and say, yeah, you're okay. It's not going to be easy, and we don't even have to understand it. So many of your comments are, hey, I don't get it, but I'll protect you. And that is so special. It's so special. So thank you. But that's why we don't entertain a lot of questions. It's also why we moderate a lot of people out very quickly, because if we think that their ignorance and their entertainment is going to have negative impacts on our youth, we got to do what we can to stop that. So I'm not here to create a fire that I can't control. I'm here to create a conversation so we all can grow. That's really all this is. Not because I have the answers, but because I have the time. And since I have the time and I'm having the experience, let us share this experience with you so you see how challenging it is. And even for some of the closest people in our whole lives, it's been challenging and it's been frustrating. It's been disappointing, but it's also been so exciting, and there's so much hope and there's so much future in it. And so thank you for all of that. Is there any other questions that we want to get to? Or
Somebody says, I'm not trans or gay, but bullied all my life and suffers terrible depression and anxiety.
wow.
I'm sorry for...
Totally understand that. I was bullied for many years growing up as a child, which
I'm sorry.
came back when I was 18. Those thoughts of suicide came to fruition. But
It's hard.
It is hard. But once you find your support group, that's who you need to hold on to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not going to be family. And that's the hardest part. You want it to be family. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So you just, once you find your support group, you hold on to them for everything you've got. Because those are the people that are going to love you for who you are, no matter what.
Yeah, I've said a few times on the show, you know, blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family.
Exactly.
You know, so,
Exactly.
True.
and just because some people are in your circle, it doesn't mean that they're in your corner. So, you know, protect who you are and protect what's important to you, because just because they're in your circle doesn't mean they're in your corner. And you find somebody who is in your corner, then you fight for them as hard as they're willing to fight for you. You know, this isn't where you get to say, I have this secret and then everybody else needs to accommodate me. It's no, this is how great and strong I am. Now what can I do to support you? How can we get this relationship to be as authentic and real and honest as possible? So that's a good point.
Someone asked how they can find a support group. They're afraid to put themselves out there. There are, it depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about for suicidal thoughts? Because there is the National Suicide Hotline.
Absolutely.
And if you're a teenager, there's the Trevor Project.
Mm-hmm.
Also, right here,
Yeah.
we are your support group.
Go in our links and you
Send a
can
message.
message us, and we can give those messages to them if we can't answer them, because they know a lot more than I do about
And also in our links is the National Suicide Hotline as well.
Yeah.
So that's easy access to that. But if you'll just go to Google, type in the city that you're in, the biggest city, Chamber of Commerce, you know, and just look at their LGBT community, you're going to see a calendar of events and speakers and whatever else. So I would be surprised if any Chamber of Commerce doesn't have that, you know, auxiliary to their program. So that's what I would do. I would reach out to your Chamber of Commerce in your local cities, figure out where, you know, next week is going to be interesting because Andrea and I were traveling back to not Philadelphia, but Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for a large transgender conference. Well, you know, we've got groups that we go out with, but we've never been to one of these transgender conferences, and it's several days. And so we'll probably try to stream from there. Maybe we'll be in a hotel room, or maybe we'll be in there and we'll see what's going on. Truth is, I don't 100% know what to expect, but it doesn't matter. You know, we're gonna be there, and it's gonna be great, and we'd love to do the
So
live
if you're there,
if it's possible. But yeah, next week on the Wednesday. Anyway, Monday I will be doing that myself. I'll be here, so please come back Monday. I'll be all alone. I'm gonna need your help. I can barely see. And Andrea is going to be taking our daughter and some friends up to a concert, to some kind of a concert or something.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Yes, it was our daughter's birthday, and for her birthday, she got some Billie Eilish ticket for her and her friends. And so, Andrea, the mother that she is
I
going to
get to
take
go.
is going to take him up
Lucky.
there and go to Billie Eilish. And so it's just going to be us, just keeping it real, and so that'll be really fun. So and then on Wednesday, we'll try to do a live from Pennsylvania.
We might
we
be
can
on the
figure out a way.
airplane.
I don't think so. I think we'll be good on Wednesday. Yeah,
Okay, I think we fly out Wednesday night, right?
I'll look.
You could do it from the air.
There you go.
Any questions that they?
The Chevy Country Girl, just know that we're here for you, and if you need anything, please shout us out. Or not shout us out, but give us a shout out.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
Hey, can I ask you a question? It's maybe interesting, and you don't have to answer it at all if you don't
Okay.
want. But you're unique in that you have a perspective that a lot of people don't have. So you're currently going through the transition of your daughter becoming your son, and at the same time, you know, you have a child who has come out to you as gay. You know, do you think, wow, this child has a more difficult journey than this child? Or I mean, are you weighing those complexities against one another?
That's actually a really good question. I'll go, and then do you want to go?
Yeah.
Or you want- Okay, so, I don't think their journeys, I don't think going trans or gay, like, I think they'll have a different journey. I don't think they'll be like, blah. I don't think they will be like, oh, Ace is gonna have a hard time because they have to transition, da 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 da, and Dalton will be like, I think their journey will just be different. Where I think the difference is, you can tap my leg if I'm out of line. So now you know if he taps my leg. The difference is Josh and I are super, 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 super supportive of Ace. Ace knows that we unconditionally love him. We know that he knows that we will help him with the transition. Any transition needs that he desires, we'll help him with that. The thing I worry about our son, my bonus son, is he has our support, but there's a third party that doesn't support it. So that's where the difference is going to be. Our love for him, for Josh's son, for the 11-year-old, Dalton, because they're both sons. That's tricky. I think, and they're both Josh's as of tomorrow. But what I'm trying to say is there's a third person for the one that came out as gay that isn't as supportive. So the love we have and support is going to have to be 500 times bigger.
But
That's the only difference I think that it's
Yeah.
going to be.
because Ace has full support at the house, whereas Dalton does not. He has full support here when he's with us
Every other weekend.
every other weekend. And so, yeah, I worry about him. I worry about his mental well-being, his happiness, because he's not getting that support that he needs where he currently lives.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's where it's going to be hard.
Do,
that
do,
answer
do you
your
think
question?
that? Do you think that society-wise, one of those roads is going to be a more difficult path to walk?
Yes, the trans.
The flower.
As
Definitely the trend.
far as society says,
Mhm.
trans, 100%.
What has to happen so it's at least an equal walk?
People need to be educated and not afraid and let
and
their
understanding.
egos.
What do they need to know?
They need to know that they won't be damned if they love someone that's trans for a lack of
Yeah.
a
That
lack
was a
of
great way.
you
Put it.
won't be damned and you won't be sent to hell if you support them because it's not your journey. They won't be sent to hell, so therefore you won't be.
Yeah.
Just love. It all comes down to the number one rule, the law. Just love. So yeah, I think that's what has to change. I think people need to not be so, oh, if I support it, then I'll be damned.
Let me ask you this, and that's a great perspective, and I appreciate you sharing that. Do you feel like it's that people don't love, or that they simply don't trust it? That they're so suspicious that it's ill-intended, or that it's deviant, or sexually motivated? It's not they don't love the person, but there's so much fear of I don't know what. Do you think it's more fear, or do you think it's more of just principle?
I think
Principle.
it's
Fear.
fear.
But
Fear.
it's funny, you think about it, the people that don't know you, when you go and put on a dress, does something happen to them in their life? No, they don't even know.
Oh, they should smile.
They should. They should be like, hey, better.
If two men get married in New York, how does that affect them here? It doesn't. They don't even know about it. It's because
of
it doesn't
fear.
affect them. So it's all coming down to fear. And it comes down to the fear of change, fear of the unknown. How do
Well,
you face
also
the fear of the unknown?
fear of
Well,
community too,
well-
and religion and that kind of thing
Right,
is,
right,
is
exactly.
part of that fear, I think.
Well, what's the danger though of thinking different? The danger of thinking different is now you have to act different, right? You can no longer justify who you were and the choices you made and the biases you have. So once you accept, wait a minute, that's not real, or I need to think differently, that means that you're now responsible for changing that behavior, or that thinking. And I think that that's a lot of work for people. I think that they're just so busy in their own lives, and changing their bias about gender is just not that important. They're trying to pay their own bills and keep their car insurance and, you know, all of these other things. And so it's not that, you know, look, it's not that I hate any of you. It's that I'm just trying to keep my own head above water, and that's
Right.
not an experience that I need to understand right now.
That could
It's just not a decision that has to be made today. But I would encourage you to start leaning toward a decision, because you're not going to get a heads up when that little person wraps their arm around your neck and says, "Guess what? Guess who I am? Guess what I'm going to be?" And in that moment, you know, you're going to say something that's going to impact that child for the rest of their life. And this is
You
your
have a
opportunity to
window.
decide
Yeah.
if that's a positive or a negative impact that you're going to have. So, you know, I'm surely not asking anybody to make a decision or to take my side at all. I don't have a side. I have a lot of different paths I can take, and I'm going to take all the ones that feel right. And you're welcome to go down there with me and see what's down that path. I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. And some of you want to find out, and some of you need the courage to get on the trail, or just to say, I would be interested in that trail at some point, or I would be interested in some support. So, you know, that's all I am. I want you to look at me and not go, "Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. Why would you want to do that?" That's going backwards. To look at me and go, "Wait a minute, that's possible?" That's what somebody can literally be, somebody that they know they're gonna be. Like that transition is possible. That means that everything is possible for me. Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted you to look at me and say, what that means is I don't have any excuses not to be everything I can be. You know, I don't have to cower to anybody's opinion. I don't have to be loved by everybody. I don't have to be accepted by everybody. You know, I have to be allowed to be everything that I can possibly be. And it doesn't have to, your journey's not about gender. I get that. Your journey's about doing something else that you wanted. Your job, a career, a hobby, a habit. Your job, what's holding you back is something different than gender. I get that. But it's going to take the same level of courage and commitment and confidence and mental mindset that you're going to have to accomplish what it is that's going to get you doing something different. You know, and I'm glad you're here with us to go through it, because the sharper we all get, then the sharper we all get. And I love to do that, you know, as a group intelligence. But,
Yeah.
agree.
They have a lot of
Yeah.
questions for them.
okay.
I know one of the moderators asked, what did they ask here?
I don't know.
If Dalt ever came to me and said he was in danger
In fear of
in
their
fear of their outside parent, would you keep Dalton full time? Because my priority is Dalton's happiness, his health, his safety. You best believe I would fight tooth and nail to get him full time. If at any point he was threatened by someone in where he lives, where he was actually afraid of his life, and he's actually kind of expressed interest to come live here. He wants to try it for a year. But that's a different conversation. But if his
and we
safety
want him to.
is ever threatened while up there, hands down, I would do everything in my power to bring him here with us, because I want him to be safe. I want him to have that support, to feel that love.
Yes.
All the
What-
comments.
So they have a child from a previous relationship. We're a blended family. He
Yeah.
has 6, I have 3.
Well, what would you not be willing to do for your child? What would you
There-
not be?
I would-
Transitioning or just in general?
Whatever. Is there a limit where you're going, I'm not crossing that line? What won't you do for your child?
I'm
I
not
would
gonna
do
go
anything.
still with them,
Yeah, no.
but
No, if
Maybe
it came
I
down to
would.
it,
I don't know. Gosh.
No, we wouldn't steal.
no. But if someone were
This is
to
live.
threaten bodily harm and actually start to go through with it, I don't care who it is.
Yeah, you would do whatever it took.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Because there's Mama Bear, then there's Papa Bear. But yeah, I don't think there isn't anything I would do anything for my kids. I would do anything. There isn't a line.
And you have.
Can you imagine if
True.
it,
Yeah.
does it seem weird to you in the situation you're in that line of what's acceptable or unacceptable for your child, that line actually ends at wardrobe? But like, is it surprising as a mom and a parent
Right?
to think
Yeah.
that boundary of what I'm not willing to do for my child, it is
Is it-
at wardrobe?
Right.
I can put up with a lot. I'll put up with drugs and stealing, but I'll tell you what, I draw the line at pants.
So this is the thing. This is the thing that blows my mind. And so I have a trans man. Okay, so born a female, transitioning to male. How come? This is what I want to know to answer your question with a question. Why is it more acceptable for Ace to go from dresses to pants and shirts than for Dalton to go from pants to dresses? Does that make sense?
Right.
So like, yeah. So that's a very good question. A wardrobe is just like how Ace said the difference between he and she. It's just a word. The difference between a male wardrobe and a girl's wardrobe is just the legs have a cut open and it's a dress. Like,
Well,
it's an open pants.
but I think that there is validity to what you're saying, and this is no disrespect to all the trans men out
No,
there, because
no.
there's so many trans men watching and that we communicate with, and I appreciate
Yeah,
you so
there's
much.
none.
But I probably think that I agree with you in that it is a different road for a male to female transgender individual than female to male, because hey, look, I get it, this person is stepping up into the male role and they're going to be well, wait a
Right.
minute, that guy is stepping down. They're
Yeah.
stepping down.
Yeah.
And
I
to
didn't mean
me-
any disrespect either. Mandy holds no. I don't
No.
mean
No,
disrespect.
she doesn't.
No, they get that. They get that for sure.
But yeah,
But that does say something interesting in society, in that even the women, some of the women feel like a woman is stepping down, and
Right.
that blows my mind. I thought that I was gonna be like, hey, guess what? I understand, and they went, boom, you get it too. Like, oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? You want big eyes, you want small eyes, and then you want isn't that amazing? Like I thought they were, and it's like, whoa, wait, what?
Right.
Like, why? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, when did having using all the switches that are turned on for you turn into a bad thing? It's
Right.
simply somebody saying, hey, that's a set of routines that I think is going to be very comfortable for me.
Right.
That's all it is. It's
Right.
that is routines that I feel is going to help me feel the way I want to feel, whatever that is.
Exactly. Yep.
If
So
I want to wear sweats and a baggy shirt, I do it. If I want to feel more feminine, then I'll put on a dress. What's the difference between a trans person and a cis person? Like,
36 mirrors.
and lights and
All
ring
trans
lights.
people have 36
1,
mirrors.
2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5.
someone
Cisgender's like, boop,
Do you
trans
feel
like,
it's
boom,
worse
boom,
for
boom.
adults to go back and forth between acceptance and I think it confuses him.
Yeah, it's definitely worse because there
Aw.
again it goes down to
He's
mental
such a
health,
sweet kid. Oh my god.
because if he's going to a place of acceptance and then going to a place where it's not accepted, that goes to mental health, that goes to emotional health, and eventually mentally and emotionally you break,
Right.
and that it's hard, and that for me, that again, that's a fear, because it's that mental health, because I suffer from it. I suffer from the depression, the anxiety, so I know how it feels to go from point A to point B. Not I don't understand how his goes, but I can understand how coming from here, being anxious, and then all of a sudden it just drops. And I understand how it feels to do that. And it'd be better if he just had that support 100% for his mental health, for his emotional health. It would be so much better. But yeah, for him, it's definitely harder bouncing back and forth between the two homes. And that, I mean, as a blended family, that's the biggest thing. It's hard for everyone because of the bouncing back and forth.
We have 2 days to, and maybe that's just what we need to focus on. In those 2 days that we have him, we're just gonna not over, but like give him enough love and acceptance to last through until the next 2 weeks.
You know, here's something that'd be interesting. And Ace, if you ever want to come on with us and do this, just know that you're always welcome. I would never ask you to expose yourself or put you in any awkward situation. But if you ever did want to, that would sure be available to you. But a question that I would have for you personally, you know, is this. You know, you're transitioning from, you know, from female to male. Do you look at me now? Not that I'm the example of what a manly man is. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But do you look at me and go, "What are you doing? You're already there. Like, what are you doing?" You know, because you know, I remember, you know, one of my favorite movies was Juno, and then when Ellen Page, right, is now Elliot Page, and I'm like, maybe that's why I loved her. Like
It's so true.
but there was a little piece of me that was like, she was perfect. She's just this spunky, chirpy little, you know, sarcastic thing that I loved. And part of me was like, man, I'll never even get to look like that. And she's already moving on from that. And I'm just like, no, come back. Not that I want the most for her, just that I really envied how beautiful and delicate and how feminine she was. And all of a sudden, as Elliot, I'm like, wow, now this is a really, really impressive person with like a whole new skill set, with like a whole new outlook and a whole new vibrance. And you don't know who you can be until you can be.
Okay, so Ace, I'm not gonna say what their like call name is, but Ace is on right now, although it'll be obvious probably because he'll answer. He wants you to he got off for a second. Can you repeat
text
the
your
question?
mom the question if you don't want people to.
Can you re-ask the question?
Well, the question was, you know, going from female to male, and you see me on TikTok or around the community, and then I'm not suggesting that I'm somehow the poster boy of what a man does or looks like or whatever else when I'm Kevin, but I'm just wondering if you're feeling like inside is like, what are you doing? Like you're already this successful guy who's got this career and he's got this beautiful wife and a beautiful family and you got all this stuff, and you're going backwards. Like, what are you doing? And I wonder if you have that feeling, because I had kind of a similar feeling, you know, about Ellie when Elliot Page transitioned, only because I loved Ellen so much and she was just so great in so many ways, and I had this like, what? Like, I'll never be what you are, and you're leaving already. And so I'm just wondering if you have some of those interesting mixed emotions, like, what's wrong with you? You're going backwards. And that's what everybody's saying about us. What is wrong with you? You're going backwards. Who chooses to go backwards? But being everything you can be is never going to be backwards. You know,
Right, exactly.
people don't get it because that's not their abilities. You know, it's not their deal. But
He said you. That's what he sees is you, right? Yeah. He just sees
I'm
you
crying.
as you.
I'm crying over here.
yeah, that's.
He sees you
That's
as
great.
you.
That's
That-
the best.
And I think isn't that the
best
difference?
response.
Yeah, the difference is some
I
people
ugly cry
are
on the
just
side.
they're more interested in this organ, you know, than this organ, and so many of the younger people are, and so many of the older people just aren't. And you know, I think we've got a pretty special group coming up. If we don't screw them up first, if we don't push them in corners, if we don't shame them, if we don't punish them, if we
We
don't,
don't gag them.
if we don't let other people and communities convince them that they're bad and they're wrong.
Someone
Exactly.
says there's a question in
Sure.
the question box.
Okay.
I don't know what a question box is.
Where's the question box?
I think it's the
Jill?
bottom. I think it's the very bottom in the middle. I think.
Q&A.
Oh, Q&A. Okay. Okay, so we have a couple questions. Does the merch help support LGBT community?
No, not really. I mean, it does
It
because
supports Allyssa.
yeah, because
to
right
continue
now,
this
while
journey.
I build the educational platform and it's coming along amazing, I can't wait to share with you the app, the website. It's all kind of working together now and the whole deal. But while I'm dumping money into that and creating that, you know, it's just $1.25 at a time here and there. So I figure if everybody who watches this buys, one thing, that I should have a tent by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
So it's not more than anything. It's fun to have a brand. It's just fun to have something that people can say, hey, look, I support the cause. And I don't necessarily support this person. I support the cause, and I support the people who have to deal with this issue. But am I taking that $1.25, for that sweatshirt and I donate it to the LG? No, because it's not that I need the money. It's the people I owe that need the money. So it just goes like that. So. What was another question? And we got to start closing
yeah,
this
we
thing
have
out
it.
pretty quick.
Ace, someone asked how do we know Ace? Ace is my son, trans man.
I
So
love to call him trans man.
Mandy's actually been friends with Andrea and Allyssa for forever.
Like our kids were in
Yeah,
preschool together, and now they're 14 and 15.
yeah, it's
So
awesome.
it's been a long time.
And
Yes.
so yeah. And then we got married
And we met
about a
on
year and a half ago.
Tinder in July of 2019
Mm-hmm.
and got married in October of 2020. And
And they're the
I
cutest.
love
Josh
They're
is
the cutest.
adopting Ace tomorrow. It's official.
I know. Again, I'm gonna cry.
Here's Addie.
So yeah, Ace will officially be Josh's son
It's
tomorrow.
so amazing.
That's cool.
Ace is amazing.
Ace, congratulations. I hope you're still on with us, but congratulations. You have amazing parents, and I hope that you realize what an unfair advantage that you have. The support that you have right here, the support that you have in this community, it's such an unfair advantage to what other transgender people are going through, and you and I can never forget that. We were given this unfair advantage so that we can be the unfair advantage for somebody else. So just recognize and appreciate the love, the sacrifice. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with the decisions they make. It means you should know by now that they're going to make the decisions they feel are best for you, and you should have a lot of comfort and support knowing that. So, good on you. I'm happy for you. Congratulations in your new life endeavor, and way to be brave and courageous and chase everything you want. So, the first step to getting what you want is knowing what you want. And the second step is saying no to everything that's not that. And you're doing a really good job with people that are going to do everything they can to help you out and support you. And that is one of the reasons why you're going to win, and you're going to win big. And I can't wait to see where you go with it. Hey, Addie. Addie just came in from work. She came
How are
in.
you guys?
Good. How are you?
Just want you to know that video we released last night, we would still be working on it right now if it wasn't for Addie, because we were trying to do it alone. And she comes in from work, and it's like 11:30, and I'm about to break the phone, and she's just like, give me this, and she did this and that, and whatever, and she saw how bad I screwed it up, and she still made this and spliced this and did this and stitched that, and next thing you know, we actually have a kind of cohesive video. So Addie, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
She's the best.
She is the best. I've known Addie a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Good amount of time. Good times together.
Good time.
People are asking if you're on hormones.
Yes, I am on hormones. I've been on hormones for about 6 years, more than 6 years. So yes, I take an estradiol patch or pill, and I also take a spirolactin, which is a T blocker. So those are the two medicines that I take every day. Once I got on estrogen, I no longer needed high blood pressure medicine or any other medicine. So, once I got the right chemicals in my body, there was no need for other
Somebody
things.
says hi, Addie.
Hi.
And somebody says their daughter's name is Addie.
Wait, was it me?
Yeah.
someone also asked, this is for Allyssa, do you have any tattoos?
Yes, but Andrew's wearing it.
Well, now the family knows. Yeah, another story.
No, I don't. I do not have.
That was
I
my
do not have any
midlife crisis
tattoos.
moment. I didn't get a car. I got a tattoo.
That's awesome. Someone also asked if I knew Allyssa. I did. I have known Allyssa for as
Yes.
long as I've known.
Well, they're asking, did you know that I was Alyssa until
no, I did not know.
when's the
Technically, I didn't know Allyssa until when did we go to Red Fort?
Yeah.
Everyone at the table knew except for yours truly.
I just assumed that everyone was like,
how
hey,
long ago
Mandy,
was that?
guess what? Like,
A couple months
couple
ago.
months ago. Oh, it was
Okay, so this is
Like
the
3
first time
months or
that
something.
Mandy, though we've been together at, elementary school, PTO, whatever, these girls did, she's never met Alyssa till you.
Today,
till
yeah.
today.
till today.
And watched her
So,
finish her
Yeah.
beautiful
Oh
makeup.
yeah. And Alyssa has the most beautiful skin.
I know.
thank you.
I wish I could do my makeup like Alyssa. I probably do some improvements.
Whatever.
No, but I know Kevin, and now I know Alyssa.
and it hurt my heart to know that she didn't know, because I thought because of the community that they were just told, which I appreciate. My friends who did know, they kept the secret to themselves. But when we were talking, I was like, hey, Ace should come and meet Alyssa and they can talk about their journeys together. And she's like, what? Huh? Who are you talking about?
What are you
What are you talking about? So I'm sad that she didn't know beforehand, because I would have got the support from her that I had been looking for so long. And so don't keep it into yourselves. If you feel like you want to share it with someone, share it, because if they're not going to support you, then why are they your friends anyway?
Exactly. And when she shared, my whole body was like, there is my safe person. Like, there is someone. I mean, we're blessed with great friends, but it's also like the stepmom community. No one gets it until you get it. So I was so relieved that someone I consider a dear friend was also a part of this circle and a safe person that I could talk to. So
Yeah.
I was so grateful.
That's why this conversation is so important, because look how close the situation was, and you're finding out 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you how relevant this is in your life as well. You are weeks away, you are days away, you are months away from people that you had no idea that would be the furthest thing that you would think, needs you to understand something that very few people will even take time out of their life to sit down and try to understand. But this is coming to a family near you. It's not if. It's not an option anymore. It's just when. And that's why we want these conversations to happen, when we can mitigate the damage that happens in the future. Once that damage is done, it's hard to mitigate. Right now, we get an opportunity to say, okay, what do these conversations look like? What do we need to know? How do you support a transgender youth? How do they know if they're transgender? What does that feel like? How do you support it without pushing them too far or pushing them too far the other direction? These are all conversations that we should have, because they may need to come out of your mouth at some point, and it would be cool if they came out of your mouth in a way that was encouraging and supportive, regardless of how well you understand it or even believe it. How many people believe all your dreams? That wasn't their dreams. That's why they didn't make sense to them. So,
It's
PTO Mom Live needs to happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be so fun.
But it also helped Ace to know that he had an instant ally in Addie.
oh,
You know what I mean?
it's the same age group, huh?
Uh-huh. So when Ace, because I came home from that dinner like, oh my gosh, Ace. This is what, we have a close connection to someone that understands and we can help each other. And Ace was like, really? Like Addie's dad? And I was like, yes. And so it was an instant ally for Ace, which as a mom felt, okay, awesome. Ace is the one that recognized that,
Wow.
not me.
And when I was telling my kids the situation, all of my kids were acted like Mandy's mom, like a mama bear. They were like, oh, okay, I'm gonna talk to her oldest child, and I'm gonna let her know that I'm here for them and that I support her, and and her oldest child being so supportive of her mom during the divorce. And I remember having a conversation with my oldest son about it, and he got so angry about what happened in their life that he wanted to hurt the people that hurt them. And in my mind, I was like, wait, whoa, dude, no, you can't physically hurt them. You can't. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, I understand. I know. But and then having all our kids know each other, it kind of gave them that connection that they know of, but they don't really, like, they're not like best friends or anything, but in their minds they know that they have a friend that is supporting them, and who, if they saw them at school, because at the time they were going through this horrible thing in her divorce, and my kids were like, oh, no one's gonna hurt my Bailey, and I'm gonna make sure that she's okay. And when she's walking down the hall, I'm gonna go and hug her. I'm gonna say hi to her. I'm at least gonna make eye contact so I don't make her feel uncomfortable that I'm this random dude of my mom's friend's son coming up and just like embracing, And so to see the connection that they had, even though they weren't friends, it made me feel good for them, but proud of the mom too, because I don't know, it just was having to talk my son down from like, no honey, you can't physically go and hurt her ex for what he did to her and her family. I know you want to, but we can't. Just give them the support they need. And so with that conversation that we had, it just made me feel good about my kids and how supportive they are, and how supportive they are with us as well. And I know that was a long story, but
No,
I
that was
needed.
good. Thank you for that. And I think that's really what this kind of all comes down to, is hurt people. And we have a group of people that for whatever one reason or another, they seem to suffer more than others. Not that it's they're tough, it's just different. And we don't want hurt people hurting people. We want strong people encouraging other people to be strong. Mm-hmm. And that's the opportunity we have if we can just think differently. We don't need a bunch of new laws. We don't need any of that. We don't need weird things being taught in elementary schools to try to appease, transgender or homosexual. We don't need any of that crap. We don't need transgender women in sports. Making it unfair for cisgender girls in sport. That's not about identity. That's about ability. That's athletics. That's not identity. So we need to focus on the things that are important. Mm-hmm. And if what somebody needs to live their life happy and healthy is to go outside the boundaries of your expectations for them, then so be it. Wear what you have to wear to be as happy and healthy as you can, because at that point I know that you're also going to be strong enough to help me as well. So be who you gotta be so you can support everybody else being who they gotta be. It's just that easy. And it just seems like letting somebody wear what they want to wear seems like a pretty small price to pay. It seems like a risk worth taking.
Yeah, I'm a what is it called?
Cisgender?
Cisgender. Yeah, I'm a cisgender, and I've always worn whatever I want to wear. So today I look normal, but I usually march to my own drum. So if a cis person can do it, why anyone can? That's my part, right? Pants.
Happy pants.
Yeah.
Happy pants.
Yeah, we're happy. I love it. So,
and you know what? It made all the kids happy.
Right.
Like all of them. It was so good.
I was judged, but who cares?
But not by the kids. And that's all that matters.
Is there any other questions? We probably need to wrap this up here pretty quick. Is there anything
Happy
that really is there any more questions in the question box, babe?
I'm sorry.
Any other questions in the question box before we wrap it up?
Amy said, I forgot about the happy pants.
Yeah. And people have asked, I don't know if they've asked for our TikTok. What is it called? What is our thing called?
Our account?
We're at Blended Stewart Style.
Style.
Blended _ family
let me get on.
I don't know.
I'll comment again.
That sounded confusing.
I'll get on the comment again. I did comment earlier with our account. Let's see.
You know, I don't think that the comments stay up on the screen. So
what is
yeah,
if you
cis,
post it, they're
what is cisgender? That's a good question.
I just learned that today.
Did you really?
Well, yeah, because Ace is very patient. Cisgender is your original, I was born a girl, I'm a girl. Like, 100, I just messed it up.
No, that's
No,
perfect.
no, no,
You
no,
are
I'm
born,
cisgender.
yeah, I'm born a girl, and I'm confident that I am a girl, and I have no desire or feeling that I am something.
You're presenting as the gender
As the
that you were
gender-
assigned at birth.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you choose
That's how
if you
people-
choose to present at your assigned gender of birth, that is cisgender. So a transgender woman is a woman who wants feminine routines, but they were born or assigned male at birth. That's all. So a transgender person is simply somebody who needs to live outside of your expectations for them. That's all it means. I realize you have expectations for what I should be wearing. I just need to live outside of your expectations for me.
What
And
does
that's
cis
as simple as
stand?
it is.
What does
Do
cis
you
stand?
identify as a trans woman?
I identify as transgender. You know, the reality is, and I know we haven't told our story today very much, but the reality is I just barely stopped my corporate America career to pursue living more authentically as a woman. And so the majority of my life, almost all of it, has been exclusively male. You know, if you just took the few times a year that we could sneak off and get around the kids and everything else, it consumed a very, very, very small part of our marriage, you know, maybe 1%. So, you know, right now, you know, we've agreed that 50% would be an acceptable number for both of us. If she has to give up 50% of Kevin, then I'm going to give up 50% of Allyssa. And we'll just, you know, blend that in as it's convenient. Have we been able to do it 50%? We haven't at all. Not even close, because we still live in a community that, you know, our children are growing up in, and kids need to ride to work, and they need to ride to friends' house, and friends are coming over, and we've got gymnastics and everything else. And so I don't want to put my family in awkward situations here in my own community. And so I simply can't dress if I know those things are coming up. So there's this other thing called parenting that's keeping me from just going all in right now. But the reality is I'm going to go from, you know, 1 or 2% getting to dress like this to up to 50%, you know, if that's what ends up feeling comfortable. And it may not be
And
that
it
much.
might change. I might be like, no, I need Allyssa 100% of the time. And it's becoming an evolved thing, because before 20 years ago, I was like, I don't know if I want to be with a girl for the rest of my life. And that was the way of me saying, Allyssa, I want you to be you, but I also need Kevin for me. But as we've transitioned together, it's grown. My feelings have become a lot easier to help her be more than the 1 or 2% that she has been.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So the reality is, you know, when I'm dressed, I like to be referred to as Allyssa, just because it's a feminine name, because it's a cute name, because Andrew gave me that name. If you called me Kevin, it's not the end of the world for me, because I have to live as Kevin most of the time. Being transgender has nothing to do with the amount of time that you're able to dress. That's crazy. Most people, they don't have the availability or the option to dress, even though it still consumes their thinking. It consumes their drive. It consumes their free time, but they simply lack the ability or access to being able to dress. That doesn't make them less transgender, or doesn't make their feelings less significant. So dressing is not really about how often you can dress, because you have the same drive all the time. Transgender woman is yes, I use transgender as opposed to everything else because it's so broad. And I want people to go, okay, well, then I'm trans. If that's trans, then I'm trans. And I want it to be such a generic thing that we don't need all the other pronouns. You know, some people say, you don't get the opportunity, you don't get the right to choose your own pronouns. What are you talking about? Everybody gets the right to describe themselves. Everybody gets the right. And the reality is, I would rather have you see me as this than Kevin, because I feel like it's a much more honest story of who I am. Yeah, I think when you see this, you better understand what I'm capable of and who I am really on the inside. I think if I saw Kevin and I was sitting here in my suit and tie and my cufflinks and I'm and I'm going eye to eye with you, you're not going to know all the beautiful things that I'm capable of. I'm probably going to be a pretty undersignificant man even. But
That's
this
not true.
this is a more authentic way of having a relationship and communication with you. So
Hi from
it
Pittsburgh.
is what it is.
Hey.
Well, guys, anything else before we shut it down? We sure
so
appreciate
good.
all the questions. It's been great. It's been so interesting for us. I've thought so much about my parents and how they must think and feel and how they're coping and what their fears and their doubts and their worries are. And so it's so nice having you on here and
Thank you
and
for
kind of
letting
doing
us.
Thank you for
Thank
inviting
for
us.
having
This was
us.
amazing.
So great.
fun.
So great. Please come back if you're comfortable.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
great.
absolutely.
So
I know someone asked if this live will be posted on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So all of our lives are on YouTube. Now, it does say stop. I think I'm pretty sure that I started the YouTube live
I
thing.
hope so.
Yeah, if you go to our YouTube channel, which is trans_Allyssa at YouTube or YouTube, whatever that, then you'll see if it's streaming. But I hope that I've started the streaming for YouTube as well. My IT team is out doing some long overdue recreation and having some incredible experiences, which is so
It is?
good
Okay.
for them. So we had to kind of run this thing a little bit on our own, and that's slightly worse than three blind mice. It's like, yeah. So
Thank
yes,
you
go
so
to
much.
YouTube and watch, guys. Thank you for being
Thank
here,
you.
guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
This
been
was
so fun.
amazing. We're finally gonna be on YouTube, which we want to start our own YouTube channel about our
About blended family.
Oh, that'd be good.
So,
We're
That's
so
awesome.
excited.
All right.
Thanks, you guys.
Love you
We
all.
love you,
Love you all.
Ace.
Love you, Ace.